So Xaku is the broken Warframe. Fun little tidbit of history. Xaku is one of two Warframes that were designed by the community in a very loose sense that the community kind of threw up suggestions and they were voted on in a poll. Xaku was suggested to make a broken Warframe, which was a joke about Warframes being bugged. That fun little tidbit of history aside, Xaku Prime is now out with us. Original Xaku you can farm on Deimos, but her actual build requirements require stuff from all over the place, including the final part of Orb Valis. Xaku Prime is much easier to get in the relics, as any other Prime is, and requires just kind of regular junk. So let's dive into the build for our spooky skeleton lady. So first off, a short primer on Xaku's abilities. One by one, which is not really how you ever will use them, but right off the bat, Zada's Whisper is a void damage buff. It actually doesn't directly buff the damage, it adds an extra hit with made out of void. So it's going to be a little hard to see, but you see normally, let me try the heavy guy. There you can see he's got the void status. Important thing about Zada's Whisper is that for some complicated math, which I'd recommend go check out Kengineer's video if you're into the deep math, it is way more effective on headshots than it is on body shots. There's various reasons for that, but that's Zada's Whisper. Her second ability, Grasp of Loke, is the one you basically see the meme Xaku. Whoosh, look at all the guns. You can probably tell right away that these guns are a little flimsy. Since they redid the enemy health to a drastic extent, the guns are kind of ineffective from, I think it's like 50 to 100, don't quote me the exact range. Then they start becoming more effective over 100, but then they're less effective on the steel path. It's got to do with the level the guns scaling on the enemy level versus how the enemy's health scales. That was not the ability I wanted, but your best bet, kind of in general, is if you want Xaku's guns to reliably kill these higher level enemies, you're going to want to use her third ability. Particularly the one called Gaze, which will do this to an enemy. And you can see, I don't have it to 100%, so it's not as dramatic, but you can see it's basically stripped almost all the armor off of these guys. Now if we steal the guns, you'll start to see a lot more effectiveness. They're still kind of slow compared to where they used to be, and I'll get onto that in a second, because I'm not without a solution for that. Just get rid of this guy for test purposes. And then grab a fresh group. Her other third abilities, I myself, by the way, use a hold to cycle the abilities, tap to actually use them. I find it kind of cumbersome to target the enemy in an active environment and hold to do everything. Pretty much her other two abilities, I'll do deny. Deny, if you can get it set up, shoots a big old laser. Does a fair amount of damage. Again, you ideally would want to have armor removed or something going on here. And it will suspend the enemies in the air. They'll just kind of hang there like kind of a budget Vauban move. Or Hildred nowadays, that you can sort of use her ability. The one I tend to actually... The other one you can do is this Accuse one. Now these white glowing guys are actually on our side. That said, A, they can be killed very easily by your teammates or even by you. And B, enemies don't tend to deal very good damage against each other. Ever. In any situation. It's a crowd control tactic, but you can use it as a panic button. Her fourth ability is, of course, her other signature. It's the one that usually turns you into a skeleton, but I have the cosmetic set to be always have my appearance instead of the skeleton, so which is new with the Xaku Prime update. Applies for his eye. Important thing about this is it gives Xaku herself 75% evasion. You can see it up at the top there. It's also slowing these enemies by 50% with my build at a base level, some boost from Molt Augmented and any other power strength, even though they're not moving. More importantly, while the Vastan time is active, your other durations, such as if you look down at my Zada's Whisper right now, do not go down. Basically, as long as you recast the Vastan time before it expires, you will just have constant duration on all your abilities. That does include the ones like Accuse and Gaze as well. You've probably seen this in a Netracell or a defense mission at some point if you played with the Xaku, where they've just got a guy turned into this for the whole time and he's stripping the defenses of everyone in the circle that you can see out here. Xaku's passive. I've literally forgotten that's how important her passive is. Oh yeah, it's a chance to avoid, damn it, it's more evasion. A chance to avoid damage. So yeah, Xaku, you may notice her health isn't particularly great. It's because she's meant to be an evasion tank or a crowd controller. You do not want to get shot by enemies with Xaku, and she has defenses against that, but they're not 100%. You cannot just Zephyr yourself out of the situation. Moving on to the build. Okay. So right off the bat, we've got range. You can tell that we've got every range mod in the game. Cunning, Drift, Stretch, Ability, Auger, Reach, Overextended. If you want to take Cunning Drift out, you'll notice down here the big one, Grasp of Loke, currently has 16 max targets. If we take Cunning Drift out, it does drop off a single gun. Also, if you're using Xaku for the box breaking thing, you lose a little distance. It's not a huge amount, but if you really want to jam your Prime Sure-Footed in there, like every other build in the world, A, you're going to need another Forma. B, you'll take out Cunning Drift. Overextended, you kind of need that one, and that's what stops us from having the 100% strip, at least until our Molt Augmented fills up. You can see we do have Blind Rage to offset the Overextended, which is damaging our ability efficiency, but Xaku basically, if she can cast the Vast on time, she doesn't need to worry about her ability efficiency for the rest of the things, more or less. That's why I do have a lot of energy in here. You can see Energy, Siphon, and Nexus. You could technically throw Corrosive Projection in here. You probably wouldn't lose much. You'd need another Forma or an Aura Forma, I think. What polarity is that? Her augments are not good. Don't touch her augments. Is my one heals your crappy health, and the other one is you have to cycle through all the lost abilities. Oh, Corrosive Projection would actually fit in here, so yeah. Welcome to On the Fly Buildcraft with Seth, or 330 Dreams, or whichever particular version of my name you want to use. So yeah, there we go, Corrosive Projection. This is 100% strip now. I should have done that the whole time. Alright, Energy Nexus. Basically, you can tell by our current duration on the Fast on time. We're running about 38 seconds. Energy Nexus gives us 3 per second. That's 90, so we've got about slightly over half the cost coming back. You can make that up with Zeneric. You can make that up with companions that drop orbs. We can have Energize in here as too. You could probably get rid of this if I'm being honest, but Molt Augmented obviously is to offset the strength deficiency and try and get our damage, whether it be Zada's Whisper, the Grasp of Loke, or our slow on the Vast on time, all the way up. Prime Vigor is just some baseline survivability for when you do get shot, because you don't have 100% evasion. That's basically invisibility. So that gives you that tiny bit of buffer. Prime Flow, again, it's an energy buffer. There's an extra former in here. It's currently on Blind Rage that you don't actually need. You can tell that if I doubled Blind Rage, it would still fit, but that does let me start with some energy so I can cast something immediately, usually the Vast Untime. If you want to drop that off and use energy pizzas, or you can have the Dig Kubro will always dig up energy at the start of a mission for you. That will kind of impact other parts of your build if you use that particular one, but it's up to you. You can also do, depending to taste, you might want to helmet off one or these two. This, depending how you like them. You can even technically helmet off this one and put like dispensary. You can also put nourish on there. Over in our Archon shards, we've got casting speed. This is very much a cozy choice. So you can cast that Vast Untime really fast to snap that duration back, and the same with the Gaze or the EQs. I do have some strength in here. I don't have Stalta, so pardon that they're not Tau Forged. I am very lazy about spending any more time in the Sanctum and Atomica than I already kind of have to with the weeklies. And just do not have Stalta to upgrade every shard on my frame, even while I pile up the shards. So I've got some extra strength in there. Again, that's off saying they're overextended. These ones are a little confusing, Violet Archon shards, because Zada herself is not dealing electricity, so what are these doing? These are working with, well, our companion. Our companion is the same old boring Dirija, who's jumped to the wrong color scheme. There he is. With a Vertiglass. To Viral Electric. The Dirija himself also shoots out electricity. So he'll make our abilities do more damage. This thing, which is our next point of discussion, will also prime up a bunch of enemies with electricity. So this is a Cynoid Simulor. You can get yours from Cephalon Suda for 100,000 standing at rank 5. Actually, it might be 120. I should double check that, but a lot. Basically, if you're not in the Cephalon Suda Syndicate yourself, you're going to need to trade for it. You're probably going to need to trade either a similar weapon or a reasonably not high amount of platinum, but moderate. Cynoid Simulor, I'll show off what it actually does in a second. Obviously, you can see the status here. Both on the primary attack and the radial is over 100% with this build. We are doing magnetic, viral priming, and electricity for additional crowd control, and that primes our things for our purple shards to take effect. So you could set this up a little differently if you wanted. You could technically take the viral off if you want your Sentinel and just make it a pure electromagnetic electric. Primary obstruct is definitely a odd choice, I'll say. I also need to buy some Phosphor packs to finish this out. Basically, this will jam weapons every so often in an area. It's just a little extra crowd control to help Xaku avoid taking damage. What the Cynoid Simulator does, I'll shoot it away from the guys for a second. Shoots this little ball. It will explode on its own, but you can also push the alt fire to explode it early. Notably, if you push the alt fire to explode it early, it will explode all balls, which is important, because if you shoot 3 balls, you get that little vortex. And then if you push the alt fire, it explodes. So that vortex can be used for a lot of different things. Oops, didn't get it to them. It's a little tricky learning the range on this thing. Okay, you can see right now the vortex is just kind of zapping them. The vortex itself does not seem to have that huge status chance. I actually don't know. Its stats don't seem to be in the game. As you can see, we can just kind of carpet bomb these guys with some virals, electrics, magnetics, if they had overguard or shields. We're really setting them up for the Grasp of Lock to just go to town and destroy them all. So we'll do that a little bit more in sequence. See, even without the armor stripping, we're getting some amount of chew through. A lot of it does depend on how the statuses happen to land. That's the Simulor. Also, it's a Cephalon Pseudo weapon, so once you fill up the affinity a little bit, it will explode, dealing magnetic procs, and refills a decent chunk of your energy. Again, making sure we can always get that Vast Untime back up and running. Our second choice here is the Tenant Plinks. Now you can run Dead Hit on here. That's going to be your most damage. You can also go for Secondary Fortifier if you're really having trouble with Xmas. That will blow through an Xmas for you. We can throw a few Xmas dudes in here. We'll load up a battle group. We'll take out the Bombards. And we will just run a few Xmas in here. And we'll throw some Corrupted Crewmen in here. So yeah, the Planks is a very pew pew pew. Big thing about it is has high critical chance. You can also do this, which gathers enemies, if that's your deal. That can be very good for a synergy with the Defying Laser. Or Deny Laser, I should say. If they manage to live, which is, you know, its own scenario. But yeah, the Planks I was using at the start goes very good with the headshot effect. That you get. Bonuses that you get off the... if you can hit the heads. I'm terrible at it. You can see at the top with that Secondary Fortifier, we can steal some Overguard for our friend Xaku here as well, which will also help her out. It'll give her an extra gate, stop staggers, all that sort of fun stuff. Tenant Plinks. This is nothing too huge. It's a fairly basic headshot build. If you don't have Galvanized or Prime stuff, look for a regular version. There will be some kind of thing that's regular. The Bane mod, again, you can swap that out and just throw in Hornet Strike if you want. It's up to you on that one. Same with any of these, by the way. If you don't have a Prime mod, just find the regular mod. If you can't find the regular mod, try asking in the help chats. Or you can ask on our Discord. It's in the link down below. My Colossus is not particularly built out because I was going to start doing it, and then the Colossus, I figured that the Colossus Prime was coming soon. I haven't managed to grind out the Colossus Prime yet, but this is probably alright, but not great, we'll say, build. I think, yeah, I was going for towards a Tennokai build on that, where you just slap, heavy, slap, get Tennokai, do a heavy. It's not terribly inspired builds. I might put it out in a video in a bit, though. Tease for future content. The Dirja I already showed you off. Nothing too special about that. So that's pretty much the build. We will amp our boys up to Steel Path. I'll turn their AI on for giggles. And Vast Untime immediately. Get a guy in there for guess we've fallen out of range. See, basically the Xmas is the only one that really survived that. Look at him going out of range. And that's Xaku in a nutshell. I'll throw in some gameplay at the end as usual for you here from the Steel Path mission, other than the one you saw at the start with the music intro. But if you're not going to stick around for that, remember to drop a like if you found this useful. Subscribe for more content, Warframe, and other stuff on the channel right now. I believe there's still some Wayfinder going on. We got Towers of Agazba. There's a couple of series that are kind of cycling into another time slot as well. No Man's Sky, that's the other current daily one. And we will see you all in the next one. Have a good one. You can solo the steel path, but it's not what I'd call the normal situation. So we'll just hop into a group Omnia Fisher here. Part of what I want to show off is that the frame can also work around teammates, because it's very easy to make Warframe builds. Sometimes it can be horribly disrupted by teammates. That's why I like to throw in a little bit of group play here too. So right off the bat, we're going to drop down Wellspring, get immediately into the Vast Untime. Snap over here, we'll steal these guys' stuff. Big gaze on him, spray down everything with the Simulor. That dude will eventually get out of his, sorry about the Octavia. Speaking of things beyond your control in the mission.
The synthesis scanner is detecting a potential target. Use it. Search for traces of the target.
See, our Simulor just went off and gave us some more. Top up our guns here.
This would be an excellent place to deploy it.
Every now and then you want to just cast, if you see big groups, cast the Vast Untime to slow them down for a little bonus survivability. See, we can pretty easily just trounce our way down here. Generally speaking, our Simulor is going to electrocuting a lot of the enemies so they don't get to fight back to begin with, but if we want to not use the Simulor priming, we can also use the planks. See, I pulled a few of them. Oh, I caught myself with a explosion there. Pop on over here. Blow up that guy. Careful shooting the planks next to yourself. See, even without doing the armor stripping, we're not having too much trouble here. Got some overguard off that Xmas with my planks. Make sure we keep the Vast Untime running.
You have collected enough reactants to open it.
Oh, that's a teammate's dog. We don't want to shoot him. It's apparently guys up above us, which is interesting. Just delete that Jade Light Xmas. Now we got even more overguard. Refresh our durations. Try to figure out where this upstairs part is. We do have an auger mod too, so we will get some shield gating by casting anything if you're really in a desperate state. My guns took down that dude before I could even shoot him with the planks. As another thing with Xaku, void damage is strong against overguard. Often overlooked. But yeah, the only thing overguard is actually vulnerable to is void damage. Sierra alt fire from the planks immediately trashed that Xmas.
We are up and ready to party.
You can probably get the idea of what we're doing here, I think. I don't want to make have a giant chunk of the video that half the people don't watch. But yeah, you can tell pretty fast I'm in a team and I've wandered like 20 miles away from them, not even vaguely been in trouble. Oh. One thing that will get you is if you fall in a pit, because that turns off all your abilities and then you have to kind of rebuild from scratch, which can be a dodgy situation. Or if you clip a nullifier, I thought I had there for a second.
Sentient scouts. If they detect you, fighters will soon attack.
Yeah, we're not even using our armor strip. Being very lazy. That's the Colossus for you, even with my crap-ass build. Here's the Acolyte. So we'll probably polish them off if our teammates don't immediately do it. We're helping. So yeah, just once again, if you want to see more builds on the channel, drop a like, subscribe. Always lets me know. Subscribe in general, but drop a like. That always lets me know what things I should kind of, sort of prioritize, rather than you just getting whatever my like ADHD decides is interesting today. And we will see you all in the next one. Drop a comment too if you got any suggestions to improve the build, or insights that I missed, or requests for the next thing. And we will see you then. Have a good one. Ooh, guns.